Hello everyone, myself Mageshwari from Department of Biology. Today we are going to discuss about the topic that is organisms and population and ecosystem, which come under unit number 17. Moving on to the first question, that is, which among the following question reveals significance of the process? The first option, why are night blooming flowers generally white? The second option is, how does the bee knows which flower has nectar? A third option, why does cactus have many thorns? And the fourth option is, how does the chick recognize her own mother? So here the question is to identify the significance of process. So when we consider about the first and third question, where we can see that a why type of question. So always whenever there is a why type of question, it reveals the significance of the process. So hence we can consider the option first one, which has 1 and 3, that is the answer for the question first. Whereas how does the bee know which flower has nectar? That is the second option. And the fourth one, how does the chick recognize her own mother? So these two options which has a how type of question. So how type of question means which explains about the mechanism of process. Hence we can stick on to the answer first one, that is 1 and 3. Now to discuss about the next question, that is second one. Ecology concerned with the which of the 4 levels of the biological organizations. So here the first option is organism, population, communities and gene pool. The second one, organism, population, communities and biosphere. The third option is organisms, population, biomes and biosphere. And the fourth one, organisms, population, communities and biomes. So when we consider about the ecology, which is concerned with organisms, population as well as communities and biomes, hence we can stick on to the answer 4, that is the 4 structures where we can include it in a ecology. Hence the answer is fourth one for the question number second. Moving on to the next question, question number 3, identify the correct option. The option 1, A is tropical forest, B is coniferous forest and C is temperate forest, D is Arctic and alpine tundra, E is grassland, F is desert. The second option, A is temperate forest, B is tropical forest, C is coniferous forest and D is Arctic and alpine tundra and E is grassland desert. Whereas you can see that the third option, A is temperate forest, B is coniferous forest, C is tropical forest and D is Arctic and alpine tundra and E is grassland, F is desert. Whereas option 4, A is tropical forest and B is temperate forest and C is coniferous forest, D is Arctic and alpine tundra and E is grassland forest. So here you can see that based on this diagram whatever given below, we have to identify in a sequence. So the correct option here based on the diagram whatever given here is the fourth one, that is E means tropical forest and next is the B, that is temperate forest and next is the C one, that is called as coniferous forest and D is Arctic and alpine tundra and E is called grassland, whereas D is Arctic and alpine tundra, whereas E is called as the grassland region and F is the desert. Hence fourth option is the right answer for the question number 3. Moving on to the next question, that is question number 4. Identify the mismatched page about the biomes. So here we can see that there are 3 structures which is given based on the description. First one is in the first column biomes and second column mean annual precipitation, that is in centimeter. In third column which is given mean annual temperature, that is in degrees Celsius. So here we can see that the different biomes are classified as first one tropical forest, second one temperate forest and third one coniferous and the fourth one Arctic and alpine tundra and the fifth one grassland and the sixth one desert. So in the tropical forest where the annual precipitation is 175 to 425 centimeter, whereas in temperate forest about 75 to 225 centimeter, coniferous 5 to 125 centimeter, whereas Arctic and alpine tundra 62 to 50 centimeter. The next one is grassland 25 to 90 centimeter, desert 5 to 50 centimeter. And also we can see that mean annual temperature in case of tropical forest it is 20 to 25 degrees Celsius, whereas in temperate forest it is 8 to 22 degrees Celsius, coniferous that is 10 degrees Celsius, whereas Arctic and alpine tundra 0 to 12, whereas grassland 25 degrees Celsius, desert 5 to 22 degrees Celsius. Whereas here we have to identify which one is mismatched. So we can see that the first option, if you consider here 2 and 3 were mismatched. So temperate forest, if you consider, that is the second option, where they said that the annual rainfall or the precipitation is 15 to 225. Actually it lies more than 225, that is 300 to 1000 centimeter, that much rainfall can be expected. Whereas the temperature, if you consider mean annual temperature, which is actually till 30 degrees Celsius we can expect. And also the next option is the third one, that is coniferous region, where the annual precipitation is 5 to 125. They said actually the annual rainfall, if you consider in case of the coniferous forest, which is more than this, and even we can see that the temperature is not at 10 degrees Celsius. It also varies in the temperature also, whatever given over there it gets fluctuates. So hence we can see that the first option 2 and 3, which is the correct option, that is mismatched in a fourth question. So answer is the first one. Moving on to the next question, that is question number 5. Find out the false statement. The first option, mango trees do not and cannot grow in the temperate countries like Canada and Germany. And the second one, temperature affects the kinetics of enzymes and through it is the basal metabolism. And the third option, that is animals use diurnal and seasonal variations in light intensity and duration as cues for the timing their foraging, reproductive and migratory activities. Fourth one, stenothermal animals cannot live for long in sea water because of the osmotic problems. So the question is, find out the false statement. If you consider the first statement, they said that mango trees cannot be or do not be grown in the temperate regions like Germany and the Canada. That is true, because the temperature which is required for the mango tree to grow, that is not suitable in that region, that's why it cannot be grown. Whereas the second one, temperature affects the kinetics of enzymes and true is the basal metabolism, that is also true. Generally the kinetic activity of the enzyme which is carried out with the help of the normal temperature, or we used to call it as optimum temperature. Whereas the third one, animals use diurnal and seasonal variations in terms of foraging, that is in search of food or in search of mate or in search of habitat, or we can call it as for migratory activities. That's why that is also true. And the fourth one, stenothermal animals. Stenothermal means the animal which can tolerate a narrow range of temperature. So these animals cannot live for long in sea water because of the osmotic problems. So that's why here the false statement is the fourth one, because the stenothermal animals means generally the aquatic animals. If you consider, they used to live in the sea water or in the fresh water where they can tolerate. That's why we can see that this fourth statement, which is a wrong statement or false statement. Hence for the question number 5, option 4 is the correct description. Moving on to the next question, that is question number 6. Any attribute of the organism that enables the organism to survive and reproduce in its habitat is called. So here options are, first one adaptive radiation, second one adaptation, third one amensalism, and fourth one regulate. So here we can see that it is the definition of adaptation. So adaptation can be defined as any attribute that makes or that enables the organism to survive and reproduce in its habitat. It may be the changes like morphological changes, behavioral changes or physiological changes which should make the individual to survive better in its habitat as well as to reproduce better in its habitat. So, hence we can say that the direct answer for this particular question is the adaptation, because it is the definition of the particular description whatever given. So, hence for sixth question answer is the second option. We will discuss about the question number 7. Match the terms listed under column 1 with their definitions listed under column 2. Under column 1, A is eurythermal, B is stenothermal, whereas C is euryhaline and D is stenohaline. So, here the under column 2, P is organism restricted to narrow range of temperature, Q is organism tolerate a wide range of temperature, and R is organism restricted to narrow range of salinity, whereas S is organisms tolerate wide range of salinity, and T is organisms change their body color. So, here if you consider about the first one, eurythermal means the organism which can tolerate a wide range of temperature, that is for A, Q option. The next one, stenothermal means the organism which can restricted to a narrow range of temperature, that is why the second option B matches with B. And next, euryhaline means the animal which can tolerate, or the organism which can tolerate wide range of salinity, that is S. For C, S is answer. And for stenohaline, the organism which can tolerate narrow range of salinity. So, that is why the correct option for the question number 7 is the first one. Question, that is question number 8. The salt concentration of inland water, sea and hypersaline lagoons are respectively. So, here we can see that the first option less than 5%, next 30 to 35% and more than 100%. Whereas the next one less than 5%, 100% and more than 35%. Whereas the next third one 5%, 20% and more than 100%. Here fourth one 1%, 60% and more than 100%. So, here the correct option is the first one, that is if you consider about the inland water, it has always less than 5% of salinity, whereas the sea water 30 to 35% of salinity, whereas hypersaline lagoon where it has more than 100% of salinity. Hence, the correct option is the first one for the question number 8. We will discuss about the question number 9. Identify the lines present in the given graph. So, in the diagram there are three graph which was given, where we have to identify what does it indicate, the first and second and third. So, here we can see that the first option, one is regulate in case of reptiles, whereas second is conform insects, whereas third one partial regulate, that is arctic tern, whereas first is regulate mammals, second is conform, that is birds, and third one is partial regulate, that is zooplankton. Whereas third option, first is regulate, that is mammals, the second option conform, that is insects, and third option, that is partial regulate, that is arctic tern, and the fourth one, that is first one conform, that is mammals, second is regulate, that is insects, third one is partial regulate, that is arctic tern. So, based on the diagram whatever given, we can clearly identify that the first one which represents that is this line represent regulate. So, regulate means if you can consider the example of mammals itself. So, they are called as regulate because they are homeothermic, whereas the second one which considers the conformers, these are conformers, we can give the examples of some insects and all. Whereas the third graph, that is partial regulate, this is a partial regulate, that is arctic tern. So, hence the correct answer is third option for the question number 9. Moving on to the next question, that is question number 10. Identify the correctly matched pairs. First one, bacteria, fungi and lower plants have thick-walled spores, whereas second one, seed and vegetative reproductive structures, dormancy, and third one, waves, hibernation, fourth one, snails and fishes, estivation, whereas fifth one, that is zooplankton, diaposis. So here it is the different types of suspended mechanism whatever given over here. So here we can see that these are the adaptations in them to escape from drastic conditions or unfavorable environmental conditions. During that season they used to undergo a suspended growth process. So here the different examples are given where we have to identify the correctly matched pairs. So if you consider about the first one, that is bacteria, fungi and lower plants, they used to develop thick walled spores during unfavorable conditions. Second one, seeds and vegetative reproductive structures are developed, that processes of dormancy where the arrested growth process or suspended growth process can be seen. And the third one, that is the bears. If you consider about hibernation, hibernation means it is winter sleep. And the next one, snails and fishes, the whatever found in the pond ecosystem, they used to generally undergo a process of estivation, that is summer sleep. During extreme summer, they used to undergo their summer sleep, that is suspended physiological process, or we can see that the suspended growth process. The next one is a zooplankton. Zooplankton undergo diapause mechanism. So based on all these explanation, we can see that all the options whatever given which is correctly matched, hence the answer is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that is fourth option. Moving on to the next question, question number 11. Which of the following is not adaptation of Opuntia? So Opuntia is one of the best example for the xerophytic adaptation. So here we can see that the first option, they have no leaves, and the second one, leaves are reduced to spines, third one phylloclade, and fourth one phyllodes. So here when we observe all these options, we can see that the first one, Opuntia do not have leaves, that is true. The second one, leaves are reduced to spines to minimize the water loss through transpiration because they used to live in the xeric conditions. Whereas the third one, phylloclade, whereas the fourth one, that is phyllodes. If you consider about phylloclade and phyllodes, where phyllodes can be seen in case of acacia, where won't find in case of Opuntia. So it is also one type of xeric adaptation what we can see. So hence based on this explanation we can see that fourth one is the option which is not related to Opuntia. Moving on to the next question, that is question number 12. Competition for food, light and space is most severe between two. The option first one, distantly related species growing in different habitat. Second, distantly related species growing in the same habitat. Third one, closely related species growing in different habitat. And the fourth one, closely related species growing in the same area. So the question is, competition for the food, light and space is most severe between when two closely related species living in the same area and when they used to compete for the similar resources. So hence we can say that the correct option is the fourth one, that is closely related species growing in the same area, they used to compete for the food, light and space. Hence answer for the 12th question is fourth option. Moving on to the next question, that is question number 13. Plants requiring less intense light for optimum photosynthesis is called. So the first option, zoophytes, second one, heliophytes, and third one, halophytes, fourth one, hepiphytes. The plant which used to require a less intense light are generally called as zoophytes. So answer for the 13th question is the first option. Moving on to the next question, that is question number 14. Mammals from colder climates generally have short ear and limbs to minimize the heat loss. This is called. So this is the law of Allen. Hence we can see that the option second is the right answer, that is Allen's rule. Allen's rule explains us that the animals who were living in the colder climate generally used to have a shorter ears and limbs to minimize the loss of the heat. So this is what called as Allen's rule. Hence the answer for the question number 14th is the second one. Moving on to the next question, that is question number 15. Example 4 are physiological adaptations which allow the organism to respond quickly to a stressful situation is. The first one, thermoregulation, second one altitude sickness, and third one that is behavioral response, fourth one escape place. So here we can see that the example for physiological adaptation which allow the organism to respond quickly to the stressful situation. So here we can see that generally whenever there is the physiological adaptation happens, we can see that there is certain changes whatever happens in our body. So if you consider about morphological adaptations means we can consider some of the behavioral responses and all, whereas if you consider about the physiological adaptations means we have to consider about the altitude sickness is the right answer for the question number 15, where the individual whenever he goes into a higher altitude places, he used to have some of the physiological changes. That's why the answer which is correct for the question number 15 is altitude sickness. Moving on to the next question, that is question number 16. When Abhishek reached Rohtang Pass near Manali, his body compensates low oxygen availability by. So, the first one, increasing RBC production, increasing the binding capacity of hemoglobin, and by increasing breathing rate. Second option, decreasing RBC production, decreasing the binding capacity of hemoglobin, and by increasing breathing rate. Third option, increasing RBC production and decreasing the binding capacity of hemoglobin and increasing breathing rate. And the fourth one, increasing RBC production and decreasing the binding capacity of hemoglobin and decreasing breathing rate. So, according to the question, we can see that whenever to the Rohtang Pass, so which lies near Manali, where it lies in a higher altitude region. So, generally atmospheric pressure goes on reducing. As a result, the person used to have certain breathing disorder due to less availability of oxygen, and here we can see that to adjust with that, the person has to have some adaptational changes in the physiology system. So, that is what increasing RBC production to compensate with the low oxygen availability. That is why increasing RBC production, decreasing the binding capacity of hemoglobin, and by increasing the breathing rate. So, that compensates the low oxygen availability in this particular region. So, hence we can see that the correct answer is the third option for the question number 16. Now, we will discuss about the question number 17. Desert lizard manage to keep their body temperature fairly constant by. The first option is physiological response, second one is behavioral response, third one is called morphological response, and fourth one is called both 1 and 2. So, here if you consider about the correct answer for this particular question is the second option, that is behavioral response. So, behavioral response in case of desert lizard can be explained by based on the adaptation what we can see in case of desert lizard, that is whenever the temperature gets reduced, it used to come out from the nest and bask around the sun to regain the normal temperature. Whenever it feels like the temperature is more, then it used to escape from that, that is it will go and hide in the shadow places. So, that is what one of the adaptation what we can see in desert lizard. Hence, the second option, that is behavioral response, is the right answer for the question number 17. Moving on to the next question number 18. Identify the mismatched pair. First option, that is seals, blubber, that is for insulation, and the second option, xerophyte, which used to have sunken stomata, reduced transpiration. Third option, that is bear, hibernation, escape place, and the fourth one, xerophyte, CAM pathway, reduce transpiration. So, here we can see that the identify the mismatched pair they asked. The first one is a seal which used to possess blubber, which is meant for insulation, that is to protect from the very cold temperature in which they used to live, that is an aquatic medium. Whenever the temperature becomes very low, that is minus degree Celsius. So, freezing temperature will be present. So, hence to prevent heat loss, they used to have this type of mechanism, that is insulation. Whereas the next one, that is xerophyte. Xerophyte has sunken stomata to reduce transpiration they said. So generally if you consider about these xerophytes, so xerophytes means generally these are present in a desert region. So the stomata structure, if you consider, they said that they have sunken stomata to reduce the transpiration process. Whereas the next one, third, that is a bear. Bear means which is used to live in a colder climate region where they used to undergo hibernation. Hibernation in the sense that is winter sleep, that is called as escape place. And fourth one, xerophyte. Xerophyte which used to undergo CAM pathway. CAM pathway is a special photosynthetic pathway, so which used to reduce the rate of transpiration. So hence we can see that here the first, third and fourth option which are correctly matches, whereas if you consider about the second option which is wrong. So hence we can see that answer for the question 18 is the second option. Moving on to the next question, that is 19, question number 19. What is not true about kangaroo rat? First option, they have the ability to concentrate their urine, and the second one, they fulfill their water requirement from fat oxidation. Third one, the major excretory product is uric acid, and the fourth one, they do not have sweat glands. So, if we consider about the question which is not true about kangaroo rat, they asked. So, generally if you consider about this kangaroo rat, so they have the mechanism of internal fat oxidation to release water, and also they used to release a highly concentrated urine, that is urea, and hence based on that information we will see the first option, that is they have the ability to concentrate their urine, that is true. And the second one, that is they fulfill their water requirement from fat oxidation, yes, that is internal fat oxidation. And the third one, their major excretory product is uric acid, they said. So urea is the answer, and their major excretory product is not a uric acid, it is a urea, because they are mammals. And the fourth one, they do not have sweat glands, they have sweat glands. So hence you can consider the third one is mismatched, hence answer for the question number 19 is the third option. We will discuss about the next question, that is identify the incorrect statement. So the first one, archaebacteria that flourish in hot springs and hydrothermal vents where the temperature far exceed, that is 100 degrees Celsius. And second one, many fish thrive in Antarctic water where the temperature is always below 0 degree. A third one, marine invertebrate and fish live at great depth in the ocean where the pressure could be more than 100 times the normal atmospheric pressure. And the next one, 99% of animals and nearly all plants can maintain a constant internal environment. So here we can see that we have to identify the incorrect statement, the first, second and third statement which is correctly matched, whereas if you consider about the fourth one, that is 99% of animals and nearly all plants maintain a constant internal environment, they said. Not all plants, only few plants can maintain the constant internal environment. Anyhow we know that the plants, nearly all plants if you consider, which used to come under the conformers function, whereas the animals generally they used to, if you consider about the mammals and all, higher mammals, they are regulates. So hence we can see that the fourth option which is wrong. So hence the answer for the 20th question is the fourth option. We will discuss about the next question, that is question number 21st. Read the following statement and select the correct option with respect to population attributes. So first one, population density is necessarily measured in numbers. And the second, tiger census is often based on pug marks and fecal pellets. Third one, biomass is not a meaningful measure to know about the population size. And the fourth one, size of a population for any species is not a static parameter. So here options are, if you consider about first one, that is A and B, second C and D, and the third A and D, fourth one that is B and D. So, if you consider about here the first one, that is population density necessarily measured in numbers. So, it is not necessarily measured in numbers. Population density or population census, it is based on the number of individuals present or number of individuals which are occupied in a particular area or particular geographical region. Based on that, we used to count the number of population or number of individuals present in a particular region. Whereas the second one, tiger census, is often based on pug marks and fecal pellets, that is true. And the third one, biomass is not a meaningful measure to know about population or size. Yes. Whereas the next one, size of a population for any species is not a static parameter. So, hence if you consider about the size of a population for any species, they said for any species is not a static parameter. And you have to identify about read the following statement and select the correct option with respect to population attributes they asked. So, hence if you consider about population attributes, so we can give the example of like natality, mortality, age pyramid as well as sex ratio. Hence we cannot include the option D also. Hence the answer is B and D, that is fourth option. We will discuss about the question number 22. Match the column 1 with the column 2. So, in the column 1, depth of seawater is given. In the column 2, the algae type is given. The depth of the seawater, which is classified into shallowest, intermediate, as well as you can see greatest depth. Whereas in case of algae type, there are brown algae, green algae and red algae. The first one, shallowest depth, if you consider, for the shallowest depth we can see that where the type of algae which is found is the green algae, whereas intermediate depth if you consider where the brown algae can be seen, whereas the third one, that is greatest depth where we can see the presence of red algae. Hence the correct option is for A it is second one, for B it is first one and for C it is third. Hence the correct option is 3 for the question number 22. Moving on to the next question, question number 23. Which of the following is generally the most appropriate measure of population density? So, here first one is percent cover, second one is biomass, third one is total number and the fourth one is relative density. So, here the question is to identify the population density. For that, correct answer is the total number, that is what total number of individuals present in a particular area in a given period of time. So, that is what we used to consider as population density and we used to represent by the letter, that is capital N. So, hence the answer is the third option, total number. Moving on to the next question, that is question number 24. Birth rate, death rate and sex ratio are. So, here the first one, population density, second population attributes, third one population interaction, fourth one population size. So, all these three factors like birth rate, death rate as well as sex ratio, and if you consider one more is age pyramid, all these are included under the population attributes. So, hence answer is the second option. Moving on to the next question, that is question number 25. What is true for the following statements? First one, that is statement, first statement, or we can represent it as statement X, which is marine fishes have chlorine secretory cells while riverine fishes have chlorine cells. Whereas the statement Y is compared to marine water, fluid present in fish is hypertonic while riverine water which is hypertonic compared to fluid present in a fish. So, if you consider about the first statement, that is regarding the statement 1, that is represented as statement X, where marine fishes have chlorine secretory cells and while riverine fishes have chlorine cells. Generally, this chloride cells which forms a lining to the epithelium of these fishes that used to maintain salt balance as well as the water balance or ionic balance. That is what we used to call the osmoregulation process. For that it is required. Hence, the statement 1 is true. As the second one, statement Y, compared to marine water, if you consider about the freshwater fishes or riverine fishes. So, they have considered that and they said that the compared to marine water, fluid present in a fish is hypotonic, while the riverine water hypertonic compared to fluid present in fish. So, here we can see that generally the marine water fishes which used to live in the region where the salinity is high, whereas riverine water fish which used to live in the region where there is less salinity. Hence, generally the fluid which is present in case of the marine water fishes, they used to have hypertonic, whereas in case of riverine fishes used to have hypotonic. That is why here the concept which is given to marine fishes as well as riverine fishes which are interchanged. Hence, we can see that the Y is false. Hence, the correct option for this particular question is the second option, that is first statement is true, second one is false. Moving on to the next question, that is question number 26. If at t time population density is n, represented by n, then what is the equation for the population density at time t plus 1? So, here the formula is the direct formula, that is n t plus 1, that is population density in a given period of time t plus 1 is equal to population density at the given period of time t plus here birth rate plus immigration and minus death plus emigration. So, here if you consider about n is density, I already told you, t is the time which is given over there, whereas b is birth rate or natality, I is immigration, d is death rate, e is emigration. Whenever we minus the number of birth rate minus the death rate, we are going to get a population density, that is n in a given period of time t plus 1. So, hence the correct option is the third one for the question number 26. Moving on to the next question, that is question number 27. If the population of rat in an abandoned dwelling in 2001 was 200 and in 2005 it was 240, then find the value of R. So, here the options are first one, that is 0.2, second 0.5 and third one 0.05 and the fourth one 0.02. So, here to find out the value of R, we have to use the formula, that is dn by dt is equal to R into n. So, this R we have to find out. We know that R can be represented as in the form of B minus D, which is equal to R. So, as a result here initially I am going to find out B minus D, that is 240 minus 200, which gives the value of 40. That is to identify the birth rate, natality. And the next one we have to identify about dt. If you consider this as 40 as n dn, we have to find out now dt. So, to find out dt, your time period should be considered, that is 2005 minus 2001, which is 4 years of time. So, now we can apply the value, that is dn by dt is equal to R into n. So, here if you apply the value, we are going to get the answer as 0.05 after calculating the particular value of dn by dt. We are going to get R is equal to 0.05. That is why the third option is the right answer for the question number 27. Moving on to the next question, that is 28. A community comprises of 3 species, that is K, L and M. The pyramids below show the distribution of pre-reproductive, reproductive and post-reproductive individuals. Which of the following statements are correct regarding given age pyramid? So, it is one of the attribute. So, where population attributes, where you can consider the first option, that is species K is growing population, and the second option species EL is growing population, a third one, that is species EM is decreasing population, and the fourth one, that is species K is stable population. So, here the options are first one 1 and 2, second 2 and 3, third one 1, 2 and 3, fourth one 1, 2, 3 and 4. So here, based on this diagram, we can identify the answer is the third option, that is the first one. If you consider species K is the growing population, and second one species EL also a growing population, whereas next one, the third, that is species M is decreasing population. Hence the correct answer is the third option for the question number 28. Moving on to the next question, that is question number 29. If population of 50 amoeba present in a pool increases to 150 after an hour, what would be the percentage growth or birth rate per individual per hour? So here, to calculate this birth rate or death rate, we have to consider the number of individuals in a given area. If you consider a given area where you can see that there will be birth rate as well as death rate. So if you want to calculate birth rate, first we have to consider birth rate is equal to 1000. So here 1000 means it is the natality rate, that is the number of individuals which are newly born in a given area per year. If you consider, it is 1000. Whereas that is why we can represent it is number of individuals born in a given area per year, that is 1000. So next is the death rate. That is also same. Death rate is considered as number of individuals died per year in a given area is 1000. So now we want to calculate the after an hour what would be the percentage growth or birth rate per individual or per hour it is considered. So hence we have considered birth rate is equal to 1000, death rate is equal to 1000. So if you want to calculate the percentage, birth rate, that is 1000, divided by death rate, that is 1000, into 100, we have to do it, multiply it and find out the value. You are going to get somewhat the value is 100, that is 1000 by 10, that is equal to 100. Hence the correct answer for the question number 29 is the first option. Moving on to the next question, that is question number 30. In nature, a given habitat has enough resources to support a maximum possible number, beyond which no further growth is possible. This characteristic feature of nature is known as, first one, biotic potential, second one, geometric growth, third one, carrying capacity, fourth one, homeostasis. So here if you consider about the related to the question, the right answer is the third one, that is carrying capacity, because it is an example for logistic growth model, or we can see that it is an example for the logistic growth model here, because where the nature has limited resources. Whenever there is a presence of limited resources, competition for the resources will be high, and initially it used to show the process of lag phase, and after that there is a process of a log phase, and after that it used to attain again deceleration phase, and after that it used to attain asymptote. So that is called as what? The stable phase. So hence in a logistic growth model, if you consider, after using all the resources, so whatever available in the nature, the competition will be very high because there is a limited resources. And here we can see that till the carrying capacity, the nature can accommodate individuals. After that, no more individual is added to the particular habitat. Hence here the explanation for the question whatever given 30 is the third option, which is called as carrying capacity. Moving on to the next question, question number 31st. A J-shaped growth curve depicts, first one, exponential growth when conditions are limited, second one, exponential growth when conditions are unlimited, third one, logistic growth when conditions are limited, fourth one, logistic growth when conditions are unlimited. So here we can see that the first one, that is exponential growth when the conditions are limited. So here, whenever there is limited resources, we can obtain the sigmoid curve, where we can see that the limited resources always gives logistic growth curve, whereas whenever there is unlimited resources, we used to get a exponential growth curve. Hence, based on that, the second option we can consider exponential growth when conditions are unlimited. That's what, if you consider about the population density with a given period of time in a x and y axis, where you can see that the population density which used to grow in a J-shape curve, because here the resources are unlimited, hence the competition is less, hence the population used to grow enormously, and they used to produce numerous number of offsprings because the resources are unlimited. Hence the correct option for the question number 31st is the second one. Moving on to the next question, that is question number 32. A protozoan produces a binary fission. What will be the number of protozoans in its population after 6 generations? So, if we consider about this protozoans, they used to produce numerous number of offsprings. If you consider one protozoa can produce 2 offsprings by binary fission, whereas now we have to consider in a 6 generation afterwards how many number of individuals will be produced. So, here we can say that if you consider about to the power 6 way, you will get the answer that is nearly 64, that is your one protozoa can produce 2. So, hence if you consider about to the power 6, you are going to get the answer that is 64, that is the second option. Hence the correct option for the question number 32 is the second one. Moving on to the next question, that is question number 33, which is correctly labeled with respect to the given diagram. So, here you can see that the first one, that is A is logistic curve, B is exponential curve, and the second, that is C is carrying capacity, A is regulate, and the third one, B is exponential curve and A is carrying capacity, and fourth one, A is carrying capacity, B is Weierhurst per growth curve. So, here based on this diagram we can see that if you consider about A means where we can show about the carrying capacity, whereas here if you represent the B1, B is nothing but the exponential growth model, whereas if you consider this C is the logistic growth curve. So, hence you can see that the correct option for the given diagram is third one, that is B is exponential growth curve, whereas A represents the carrying capacity, hence the answer is third option. Moving on to the next question, that is question number 34. Which of the following is not true with Weierhurst logistic growth model or growth curve? The first one, growth occurs in the presence of limited resources. Second one, a population growing show initially a lag phase, deceleration and acceleration, and finally an asymptote when the population density reaches the carrying capacity. Third one, growth curve is sigmoid curve, and fourth one, it is described by the following equation, that is dn by dt is equal to r into n k minus n by k. So, here the question is to identify which is not true about the logistic growth model. We know that logistic growth model, which is the more realistic growth curve in the nature, where we can expect in the nature the resources or the whatever the basic requirement required by the individual will be available in a limited manner. That is why this particular growth curve is a realistic one in the nature, in which you can see that the first option related to that, what they have given is growth occurs in the presence of limited resources, and that is true. And the second one, a population growing show initially lag phase, and after that deceleration, they said after that it shows a log phase. After log phase it shows deceleration and later asymptote phase. So, that is why the second one is wrong. And third, growth curve is sigmoid curve. Yes, it is described by the following equation, that is dn by dt is equal to r into n, where next one is the k minus n by k. So, hence we can see that the right answer for this particular question is the second option. Moving on to the next question, that is question number 35. which path is followed by plant as a part of adaptation in an ecosystem where kangaroo rat is living. We know that kangaroo rat which is living in a xeric habitat, so hence which path is followed, that we have to find out. So here first one C3 path, second C4 path, and third one CAM path, and fourth one TCA path. So, if you consider about this kangaroo rat which is living in the xeric conditions, where we can see that they have to undergo a specialized photosynthetic pathway by the plants. Okay. So, generally if you consider the plants which are living in the habitat where the kangaroo rat lives is a xeric habitat. That is why the plant has to follow a special photosynthetic pathway which is called cresolution acid metabolism pathway, that is CAM pathway, by which we can see that where there is a fixation of the carbon takes place, in which the plant used to remain by closing their stomata during daytime, whereas during night time we can see that the stomata which is open, that is to avoid the rate of transpiration. Hence we can see that this type of photosynthetic pathway which is called as cresolution acid metabolism. So that is what, in which we can see that stomata remain closed during daytime. So that is what to remember about this particular CAM pathway. Hence for the question number 35, right answer is the third option. The next question is question number 36. Depending on the study of bird population in different area of North Gujarat for last 10 years, that is 2000 to 2010, in which month the population of bird is least? The answer is April. And if we consider about that region itself, nowadays we can see that the decreased or reduced population of these birds, and some birds are already in an endangered list if you consider about sparrow and all. So the reason is that the radiation effect, climatical factors effect, or the habitat which was changed, or some hunting activities and all. So all this made them to reduce their population size. Whereas if you consider about during April month, where we can see that less number of the bird population over there. So that's why the answer is April. Going to the next question, that is question number 36. Which is the correct option for the given table? So here there are two columns, where in the first column they are given about the information, and the second about the examples. The first one, breed only once. So example is bamboo. The second, that is breeds many time, that is birds like pigeon or the mammals. Or the next, small sized but many offsprings were produced. Example, prey birds. Or the next fourth one, that is large sized but produce few offsprings, that is pelagic fishes. So if you consider about all these four examples, where first one is right, that is breed only once, that is bamboo or salmon fishes are the example. Next, breeds many time in their lifetime, that is birds as well as mammals. Next, small size but many offsprings, we can give the example of oysters, where birds will not be applicable to that, that is why it is wrong answer. Next, large sized few offsprings, so we can consider about the elephant. They are given about the pelagic fishes, they are not large sized. So that is why the correct answer for the question number 37 is the second option. First and second were true, third and fourth were false. I am going to the question number 38. Select the incorrect statement from the following. The first one, an orchid growing as an epiphyte on mango branch is an example of commensalism. The second one, in root parasitism, the parasitic bird lays its eggs in the nest of its host bird. Or the next one, in amensalism, one species is harmed whereas the other is benefited. Whereas the fourth one, Cuscuta has lost both chlorophyll and leaves during the evolution and parasitic hedge plant. So if you consider about the four different examples, where you can see that the first one, orchid growing as an epiphyte on a mango branch, it is an example for commensalism, it is true, and where we can see that in a commensalism, one individual is benefited and the one is neutral response, whereas the second one, that is in brood parasitism, parasitic bird, that is if you consider about cuckoo, lays eggs in the nest of host bird, that is crow, that is a type of again parasitism. Next one, in amensalism, amensalism is the concept where we can see that one individual is neutral and the one is harmed. So, it is a minus and 0, or we can say negative and 0, that is a type of interaction. So, hence here in amensalism one species is harmed whereas the other is benefited. They said they are not benefited, they are neutral response. So, hence we can see that the third one itself are wrong. Hence, the answer for the question number 38 is the third option. Moving on to the next question, that is question number 39. Which of the following is correct statement? The first one, commensalism, when none of the interacting population affect each other. The second option, symbiosis, when the interaction is useful to both the population. Third one, symbiosis, when neither population affect each other. Fourth one, that is commensalism, when the interaction is useful to both the population. So, here we have to identify about the correct statement. So, if we consider about the commensalism, when none of the interacting population affect each other, yes, whereas the second one, symbiosis, when the interaction is useful to both the population, we used to call it as mutualism or symbiosis. Actually, it's the right. Whereas the third one, symbiosis, when neither population affects. So, both used to benefit each other. That's why the third one is not answer. Fourth one, commensalism, when the interaction is useful to both the population. In commensalism, we know that the interaction in which one individual will be benefited and the one will be neutral. So, as a result, the fourth one also wrong. So, correct answer is the second option. Moving on to the next question, that is question number 14. Select the incorrect match with respect to interspecific interaction. So, the interaction between the two different species, that is why it is interspecific interaction. So, if you consider about the first one, that is species A and species B, and the type of interaction is given in the columns. So, first one we will see species A is benefited, species B also benefited, and the type of interaction is mutualism, they said, that is right. Second, species A is benefited, species B is harmed, and the type of interaction is parasitism, or if you consider in case of predation, one is benefited and the one is harmed. Whereas the third one, there is species A is benefited, species B also benefited, hence the type of interaction should be mutualism or symbiotic, as a result of the third one, which is wrong because they have given that commensalism. So, commensalism means we know that species A is benefited, species B is neutral should be. So, and the fourth one, that is species A is benefited, species B is harmed, which is called as predation. So, fourth one is right. So, hence the correct option, that is to identify the incorrect statement with respect to the interspecific interaction is the third one. So, answer is 3. We go to the next question, that is question number 41. Animals undergo inactive stage during winter is known as. The first one, that is estivation, second hibernation, third one vernalization, fourth one acclimatization. So, if we consider about the first one, estivation means we know that it is summer sleep. Hibernation is the winter sleep, can be seen in case of the animals who were found in the colder climates, whereas vernalization is the phenomenon which exhibited by the plants, whereas acclimatization is adjusting with the surrounding changes of the environment, that is abiotic changes in the environment, that is acclimatization. Hence, here we can see that the winter sleep is the hibernation. Hence, the second one is the correct answer for the question number 41. Moving on to the next question, that is question number 42. Identify the interaction in which both interacting species are not benefited, both are negative. So, here you can see that predation is the condition in which in predation one of the individual is benefited, whereas the another one is harmed, that is predator benefited, prey is harmed. Commensalism is the condition in which you can say that one of the individual is benefited and the one is neutral response, that is 0. Whereas in case of competition, if you consider both are loser, that is both species A and species B are negative response. Parasitism, if you consider parasites are benefited, host is harmed, that's why it is plus and negative, that is minus. Hence the correct answer for the question is now based on explanation whatever given, third option, that is competition. On the next question, that is 43. Which of the following statement are true with predation? First one, it helps in energy transfer. Second, maintains prey population under control. Third one, maintains species diversity. And the fourth one, if a predator is less efficient, it overexploits its prey. So here we have to identify the true with respect to predation. First one again, it helps energy transfer. More than energy transfer, there are some other functions in a predation interaction type. So hence we can consider the first one, which is actually it is not related to the concept, but whenever we consider about predation type of interaction, other than this energy transfer, some other functions are there. So second one, that is maintain prey population under control, that is true. And the next, maintain species diversity, that is also true. Next, if predator is less efficient, overexploits its prey, that is also true. Hence the answer is the second option, 2, 3, 4. Moving on to the next question, that is 44. One of the following is an example for morphological adaptation developed by the prey species in plants to lessen the impact of predation. The first one, insects and frogs are the cryptically colored body. Whereas the next one, the second one, the monarch butterfly with poison content. Third one, thorns of acacia and cactus. Fourth one, calotropis with the poisonous, that is cardia glycosides in it. So if you consider the question where we have to stress the word, that is morphological adaptation. So first one, if you consider insects and frogs are cryptically colored body. Whereas the second, the monarch butterfly with poison content. Third is thorns of acacia and cactus. The fourth one, there is calotropis with poisonous cardia glycosides. So by going through all these 4 options, we can clearly see that based on the question whatever asked, the related answer is the third one, because morphological adaptation developed by the prey species of plants to lessen the impact of a predation they asked. That's why the answer is the third one, that is thorns of acacia and cactus. If you say some other examples or whatever given, it may be considered as a physiological changes in the body. And the answer for the question number 44 is third option. Where is the next question? There is question number 45. The feeding efficiency of one species might be reduced the interfering and inhibitory presence of the other species, even if the resources are abundant. It is called, the first one, interspecific competition, that is the competition between the 2 different species. And the next one, interference competition. Even though the resources are enormous, there is an interference competition. If we take the example of Abingdon tortoise and goat species in the region of the Galapagos Island, we can consider about this type of interference competition whenever the goat species were introduced into the region of the Galapagos Island. Slowly this Abingdon tortoise were replaced because their feeding efficiency is less compared to goat species. As a result, it is a best example for interference competition. Next one, intraspecific competition, it is a competition within the species. Next one is both 1 and 2. So the right answer for the question number 45 is the second option, that is interference competition. What is the next question? In birth rate and death rate is equal, then what will be the vital index? So if you want to calculate the vital index, where we have to calculate about the birth rate as well as the death rate. So here we can say that if you consider about the birth rate, so which is calculated in a particular given habitat as the number of individual born in a given area in a year. If you consider, that is 1000 per year, Whereas death rate, if you consider, it's the number of individuals died in a given area, that is per year. If you consider, that is also 1000, where we have to consider about the vital index. So vital index can be calculated based on vital index is equal to birth rate divided by death rate into 100. Birth rate divided by death rate into 100. We are going to get the answer, that is 100. That's why the vital index is 100. That is second option. On to the next question, that is question number 47. Which of the following exhibit positive and negative interaction? So positive means benefited, negative means harmful. So first one, leech and cattle. If you consider about the leech and cattle, in which you can see that which is a type of parasitic type of interaction, whereas the next sea anemone and clownfish, so commensalism, or we can see in case of next one, there is Ophrys and bee. Ophrys and bee, if you consider, it is a mutualism, that is both are benefited. Liver fluke and sheep, here also parasitism, where one is benefited and the one is harmed. And cuckoo and crow, which is called as a brood parasitism, where a cuckoo bird is benefited, crow is harmed. Lichens, if you consider, it is the best example for mutualism, where both are benefited. So based on these examples, we have to identify positive and negative interaction. The positive and negative interaction can be seen in the first one, that is leech and cattle, where the leech is benefited, cattle is harmed. Whereas the next one, that is regarding the fourth option, that is liver fluke and sheep. Whereas the next one, that is regarding the fifth option, that is cuckoo and crow. So based on this option, we can see that the fourth one, 1, 4 and 5 are the correct answer for the question number 47. Moving on to the next, that is question number 48. Two closely related species competing for the same resources cannot coexist indefinitely, and competitively the inferior one will be eliminated eventually. This is the first one, competitive release, second one, Gauss's competitive exclusion principle, and the third one, Allen's rule, and the fourth one, Jordan's rule. So here we can see that it is the concept of Gauss competitive exclusion principle, which states that two closely related species competing for the similar resources, they never coexist. So indefinitely you can see that the superior one eliminates the inferior one eventually from the habitat. So hence we can see that the option is second one, question number 48. Now to the next question, that is question number 49. Match the following type of questions, where in the column 1 they have given some of the examples like a Abingdon tortoise, a goat, and a sea anemone and a clownfish. Next is copepods, next bird and seed, and after that penicillium and bacteria. Whereas in the column 2, some of the examples like the commensalism, competition, predation, ectoparasitism, and next amensalism. So here if you consider about the first one, Abingdon tortoise and goat, where we can see that there is a competition process. So where interference, competition is nothing but the fitness of one species is lower in the presence of the another competing species. So hence we can see that A matches with Q. And the next one, sea anemone and a clownfish. For that, the example is commensalism, where one is benefited and the one is neutral. And the next one, that is copepods. Copepods, if you consider, the right match is the ectoparasites. And the next one, bird and seed. So it is a type of, if you consider about the predation mechanism, what we can see. So that's why it is predation R. And the next one, penicillium and bacteria. So if you consider about the penicillium and bacteria, which is the example for amensalism process, hence the correct answer is A, Q, B, P, C is S, G is R, E is T, and first option is correct answer for the question number 49. 50. Cornell's elegant field experiment showed that on the rocky sea coast of Scotland, the larger and comparatively superior barnacle, that is dash, dominates the intertidal area and excludes the smaller barnacle dash from that zone. So if you consider about, this is the concept of the competitive release process which come under competition type of interaction, which you can see that Cornell's elegant field experiment showed that the rocky sea coast of Scotland, where the larger and competitively superior barnacle called as balanus, so that's why the option A is balanus. Next is dominates the intertidal area and excludes a smaller barnacle called Catamalas, that is option B from that zone. Hence the answer is the second option for the question number 50. For the next question, that is 51. 5 closely related species of warbler species living on the same tree were able to avoid competition and coexist due to behavioral differences in their foraging activities. Shows foraging activities means in search of food. Okay, so foraging activities shows the first one coexistence, second one resource partitioning, and third one is interference competition, fourth one is both 1 and 2. So, if we consider about this type of interaction, that is under competition, we can see that there is 5 closely related warbler species. To avoid competition, they have changed their timings of foraging activities, that is nest building activities and all. So, as a result, they have avoided completely the competition. So, these type of interaction where it shows the presence of coexistence among them, and also which shows the resource partitioning principle. That is why we can see that the answer is both 1 and 2, that is option 4. The next question number 52. Palatable viceroy butterfly resembles a distasteful monarch butterfly for its protection. This is called as. So, it is a type of warning mimicry. One of the individual to protect itself from the predators, it is mimicking like the another individual, that is if you consider about the monarch butterfly. So, it can protect itself from the predator. This type of mimicry is called as a warning mimicry, where we can see that this particular butterfly that was called as what, a monarch butterfly, during its larval stage itself it used to consume a bitter leaves. So, as a result it will be distasteful to its enemy, hence it can now protect itself from the predators. So, that is what the mechanism what we can see in case of this palatable viceroy butterfly. It resembles the monarch butterfly, hence it can protect from the predators. That is why this type of interaction is called as what, warning mimicry. So, answer second for the question number 52. Moving on to the next question, that is question number 53, where multiple options are correct for the following questions. So, if 1 means it is 1, 2, 3 are correct, 2 means 2, 3, 4 are correct, 3 means 3 and 4 are correct, 4 means 1, 2, 4 are correct. So, first one, identify the ectoparasites. So, here if you consider about the question number 53 itself, where ectoparasites are Taenia, leech, ticks and cuscuta. Among them we can see that Taenia is ectoparasite, and even if you consider about the leech also, ticks if you consider ticks also as an ectoparasite, cuscuta if you consider cuscuta also an ectoparasite. So, here if you consider about the option whatever given, that is Taenia, leech, ticks and cuscuta. So, here we can see that second one is right answer, because Taenia is an internal parasite in case of some pig or sheep etc. That is why the options are leech, ticks and cuscuta. So, here we can consider about the second option. For the next question, special adaptations developed by the parasite to live inside the host are. First one, loss of unnecessary sense organ, yes. Second, presence of adhesive organs or suckers. Third, loss of digestive system. Fourth, low reproductive capacity. So, here if you consider about the first, second and third point, which is true, whereas fourth one they have high reproductive capacity. So, as a result 1, 2, 3 were correct. So, answer is first one. Moving to the question number 55, identify the correctly matched pairs. The first one, Taenia, endoparasite, digenetic parasite. Second, cuckoo and crow, brood parasitism. Third, liver fluke, endoparasite, monogenetic parasite. Fourth one, Plasmodium, digenetic parasite. So here we can see that the 1, 2, 3 options were true, whereas if you consider liver fluke, which is monodigenetic, it should be. That's why the answer is fourth one. Question number 56. Which of the following statement is not true to mutualism concept? Okay. So here first one, lichens present in an intimate mutualistic relationship between fungus and photosynthesizing algae. Second option, mycorrhizae and fungi help in the plant in the absorption of essential nutrients from the soil. Next, third, both the interacting species are benefited. Fourth one, co-evolution is not an important process for the mutualism. Co-evolution is one of the important process for the mutualism process. So that's why we can consider the fourth one itself a wrong answer. So hence the answer for the question number 56 related to mutualism is this one is not true. That is fourth option. Well, the next question, that is question number 57. Pollination in Ophrys, that is Mediterranean orchid, occurs by first one, insect through clip mechanism, and second, insect through trapdoor mechanism, third one, insect through pseudocopulation mechanism, and fourth, insects through the lever mechanism. Here we can see that if you consider about this Mediterranean orchid, uh, as well as the particular bumblebee. So, it is a very specific agent to pollinate this particular Mediterranean orchid plant. So, hence we can see that it is a co-evolution among this Mediterranean orchid as well as the bumblebee, so type of bee. So, these two are co-evolved. Hence, this bumblebee, if you consider, which used to help in the process of the pollination by the process called as the sexual descent. So, as a result we can see that here the insects through pseudocopulation mechanism is the right answer. This bumblebee used to follow the process of pseudocopulation in a Mediterranean orchid. So, the Mediterranean orchid which used to produce a flower, in that the flower petals, if we consider, under that one of the flower petal which is modified into the female bee like structure in its appearance, color, size, etc. Hence, this male bumblebee used to feel that is the female bee, and it used to pseudocopulate. And during this process, there is this pollen of that particular flower sticks on the body of this particular bee, and it used to go and sit in other flowers for the process of pseudocopulation. As a result, it helps in pollination process. Hence, we can see that the sexual descent process which is present in this particular Ophrys that helps in the process of pollination. Hence, the correct option is 3. We go to the next question, that is question number 58. Camouflage is an important mechanism where, first one, predators are never cryptically colored for easy capturing of their prey. Second, prey species are cryptically colored to avoid being detected easily by the predator. And the third one, prey produces some poisonous chemicals in their surroundings to protect themselves from predators. And the fourth one, predators evolved some physiological adaptations to reach to the prey present in some harsh habitats. So, the question is here, camouflage is an important mechanism where, so the first one, if you consider, predators are never cryptically colored for easy capturing of their prey. Whereas the second one, if you consider, prey species are cryptically colored to avoid being detected easily by the predator. This is actually true, the second reason. Third one, prey produces some poisonous chemicals in their surrounding to protect themselves. No, it's not true. Next, predators evolved some physiological adaptations. See, your prey has to undergo some physiological or morphological adaptations. As a result, we can see that the second one is the right answer for the question 58. We go to the next question, that is question number 59. A bird enters the mouth of crocodile and feed a parasitic leeches. The bird gets food and crocodile gets rid of blood sucking leeches. Both the partners can live independently. Such an association is called. So, it is a type of proto-cooperation where it is actually no need of this type of interaction. It is not a permanent type of interaction or very necessary interaction. So it is only for the beneficial aspect. As a result, we can see that this type of interaction is called as a proto-cooperation. That's why the answer for the question 59 is fourth one. Go to the next question, question number 60 should be answered based on the these type of options. That is assertion and reason based question. First one, that is assertion is true and the reason is true, and the reason is correct explanation for the assertion. Second, the assertion is both assertion and reasons are true, but the reason is not correct explanation for the assertion. Third one, assertion is true but the reason is false. Fourth one, assertion is false but the reason is true. Based on that, we have to identify the answer for the next question. Assertion is smaller animals tend to lose body heat very fast as compared to larger animals. Reason, smaller animals have a smaller body surface area. So, if we consider about this particular question, we can see that the assertion is true, that is the smaller animals tend to lose the body heat very faster rate compared to the larger animals, whereas the next, that is smaller animals have smaller body surface area, they said. So, generally compared to their body size, the surface area where the animal used to live, so that is vast in a colder climates, whereas here the smaller animals have smaller body surface area, they said. So, hence the option is the second one. 61, assertion, monarch butterfly is highly distasteful to its predators, whereas the reason, monarch butterfly has a chemical which is acquired by feeding on poisonous weed during the caterpillar stage. So, both the statements were true and it is a correct explanation, hence the answer is the first one. Go to the next question, 62. Assertion, inhibition or death of one organism by another through the production of some byproduct is known as antibiotics. Whereas reason, antibiotic is a type of negative interaction. So, here we can see that the assertion is inhibition or the death of one organism by another through the production of some byproduct is known as antibiotics. If you consider in case of the penicillin as well as the bacteria culture, that is Penicillium notatum, which is cultured in the lab, which used to release penicillin and it used to kill the bacteria population. That is what they have given. So, assertion is true. Next, antibiotic is a type of negative interaction. So, here we can see that it is true, which used to affect bacteria. That is why both assertion and reasons are true, but it is not a correct explanation to the assertion. Hence, the option second. Moving to the next question, 63. Assertion, net primary productivity is gross primary productivity minus respiration. Whereas next, the reason is secondary productivity is produced by heterotrophs, they say. Here we have to stress the word that is in the assertion, net primary productivity is equal to, that is NPP is equal to GPP minus respiration loss. Minus respiration loss. Don't consider the respiration word, here respiration loss. Whereas the next one, that is secondary productivity is produced by heterotrophs. It is not produced by heterotrophs, it is gained by the heterotrophs after consuming the producers. As a result, we can see that here both assertion and reasons are false. Hence, the answer is fourth option. On to the next question, 64. Biological control as pest control in agriculture is an example of, first one, predation, second one, competition, third one, immigration, fourth one, diseases. So, here biological control as pest control in agriculture is an example of, it is a type of predation where one the organism which is to harm the crops will be consumed by the another one. That is why it is type of prey predator mechanism. Hence, the answer is first one, that is called predation. The next question, 65. Which is the appropriate option if we take T for correct statement and F for wrong statement? First one, energy pyramid are always upright. Yes. Detritus food chain begins with dead organic matter. That is also true. Next, C4 path is the only path C in xerophytes. So, in xerophytes we can see CAM pathway also. Next, biodiversity is less in an equatorial region because of more sunlight. That is also wrong again. So next one, that is at normal temperature, Daphnis lay parthenogenic eggs which develops into male, they said. So here if you consider about the fifth one is true, hence first, second and fifth one is true, whereas third and fourth which is wrong, hence the correct option is the second one, that is the TTFFT. Moving on to the next question, 66. The term niche of a species refers to, first one, specific place where an organism lives. Second, competitive power of an organism. Third option, specific function of an organism. Fourth option, specific and habitual function. So here actually the habitat where the organism live, that is nothing but the niche. Here we can see that the profession of the individual organism in its habitat. So hence the first one, that is specific place where organism live becomes a habitat, whereas the competitive power of an organism is not considered as niche. Specific function of an organism in its habitat. So hence that is also third one also not answer. Fourth one, specific and habitual function is true, hence the answer is fourth one. Go to the next question. Term ecology was proposed by, the term was proposed by Ernst Haeckel. So option is fourth one. The next question, 68, the term biocenosis was proposed by. So here the biocenosis term, based on the distribution of the climatical factor, the distribution of the individuals can be seen in different biomes. So that is what biocenosis. It was proposed by the second option, that is Carl Moebius. Moving on to the next question, question number 69. Ecosystem is, first one, self-regulated, self-sustained. Third one, segment of environment. Fourth one, all. So if you consider the ecosystem, which is self-regulated and even self-sustained process, and also it is a segment of environment, hence the option is all, fourth option. Go to the next question, question number 17. Organisms occupying similar ecological niche but different geographical area of distribution are called as ecological equivalents. That is the answer for that. So if you consider about occupying a different ecological niche and geographical area, which always included under ecological equivalent. So the answer is second option. Go to the next question. A community is defined as, first one, group of birds. Second, that is the collection of species. Third one, interacting population, and the fourth one, an interactive ecosystems. So generally if you consider about any ecosystem, there will be a single unit, that is what, individuals, forms organisms, and forms a population, and forms a community. So hence we can see that the answer is interacting population forms a community. That's why the answer third. Moving on to the next question, 672. The annual net primary productivity, that is NPP, of the terrestrial and aquatic ecosystem of whole biosphere are respectively. So the first one, 117 billion tons and 55 billion tons in aquatic, whereas the 170 billion tons in terrestrial and 55 billion tons in aquatic. Next is 115 billion tons and 55 billion tons. Fourth one, 55 billion tons and 115 billion tons. We know that when you consider about the total net primary productivity in the whole biosphere, 170 billion tons of productivity only seen in the terrestrial ecosystem, whereas out of which 55 billion tons of the productivity is from the aquatic ecosystem. Hence we can see that 170 billion tons and 55 billion tons, it is the right answer, because in the whole biosphere we are considering where the total net primary productivity will be 170 billion tons, whereas out of which 55 billion tons is the productivity only from the aquatic ecosystem, remaining is from the terrestrial ecosystem. So hence we can see that maximum productivity will be in a terrestrial ecosystem compared to the aquatic ecosystem. So answer is second option. The next question, 73. Vertical distribution of different species occupying different level is called as stratification. The stratification is the vertical distribution of different species in a different levels. So the stratification always provides habitat as well as niche for the organism in the habitat. So answer is the second one. Moving on to the next question, question number 74. The flora and fauna in lakes or ponds are First one lentic biota, second lotic, third one abiotic, fourth one fade layer. So generally if you consider about aquatic ecosystem, which is further classified into flowing water as well as standing water ecosystem and a freshwater ecosystem. So the stagnant water ecosystem is called lentic, whereas flowing water ecosystem which is called lotic. So here the flora and fauna in lakes and pond. So lake as well as pond is an example for stagnant water ecosystem. Hence the best example is lentic biota. So option 1 is the correct answer for 74 question. We go on to the next question, 75. The available biomass for the consumption of herbivores and decomposers is the first one net primary productivity, second one gross primary productivity, third one secondary productivity, and the fourth one primary productivity. So here it is the available biomass for the consumption of herbivores and decomposers, which is always called as net primary productivity. So here the productivity of the plant which forms in a biosphere as a GPP, whereas minus respiration loss forms NPP, whereas here it is the available biomass. Hence we can consider the answer as the first one, that is NPP, net primary productivity. Next question, 76. Identify the option with incorrect statements. First one, detritus is the raw material for decomposition. Yes. Second, in leaching, water-soluble inorganic nutrients go deeply down into the soil horizon and get precipitated as salt. Yes. Third one, humus undergoes decomposition at an extremely slow rate. Yes. Next, the last step involved in decomposition is catabolism, they said. It should be mineralization. Decomposition is quicker if the detritus is rich in lignin and chitin. Whenever this substances like lignin and chitin is present, the decomposition process is slow. And the next, detritivores break down detritus into smaller particles. Yes. So the answer is, to identify incorrect one, fourth and fifth one are incorrect because I have already explained you the last step of decomposition is mineralization, and whenever this lignin and chitins are present, the decomposition process is very slow. Hence the answer is second option. Moving on to the question number 77. The important step in the process of decomposition in the order. Decomposition is the process in which the larger substrates are broken down into simpler ones with the help of the decomposers like bacteria, fungi, or if you consider about earthworm. Whereas this is carried out with the help of the following step. Under that first process, which is called as fragmentation, second process is leaching, third process is catabolism, the fourth process is humification, fifth process is called as mineralization. So this is the order. So if you consider about the first, second and third and fourth option, so the fourth option is in an order, that is fragmentation, leaching, catabolism, humification and mineralization. So the answer for the question number 77 is fourth option. We go to the next question, that is question number 78. Select the incorrect statement. First one, organisms living in oceans or lakes and rivers do not face any water related problems. So actually they used to face some water related problems because if the water is not pure, or if the availability of dissolved oxygen content is less, or if the water has pollutants, so then the organism used to face the problem of water related issues. Next is, productivity and distribution in plants are dependent on water. Yes. The next, the level of the thermal tolerance of different species are determined to a large extent their geographical distribution. Yes, based on the availability of temperature, the distribution of species happens. Foraging, there is in search of food, reproductive and migratory activities of some animals are dependent on seasonal variation, that is if you consider about the light or precipitation, etc. So the first one itself incorrect statement, because the animals who were living in aquatic media, there may be ocean or freshwater region, they used to face some water related problems in somehow. So I have already explained you that whenever there is a presence of pollutants, or whenever there is whatever the harmful toxic substances are directly released into the water, or whenever there is a problem of eutrophication, that is reduced level of oxygen availability in a water, then the aquatic animals used to face some problems, even the bird, even the plants also. So that's why we can see that this first one is the incorrect statement. So answer is first one. Moving on to question number 79. Identify the option with true false statement about secondary consumers. The first one, they occupy third trophic level. Yes. They are primary carnivores. Yes. They receive 10% of energy from tertiary consumer. That is wrong. They are with maximum energy and occupy second trophic level is wrong. So hence the right answer is the first one. 3 and 4 are false statements. Now to the next question, there is question number 8. Heterotrophs include the first one, that is primary producer and consumer, second consumer and decomposer, third consumers only, fourth one decomposers only. So here 80th one where consumers only is the answer, because heterotrophs means they have only consumers. So option 3 is the right answer for the question number 80. Moving on to the next question, 81. Interaction and interdependence between different population is called. Interaction and interdependence means it is mutualism. That is the second option. For the next question, 82. Study the relationship between communities and environment is called. The study of relationship between communities and environment is called as ecology. It is a subject which deals with the interaction. So hence the answer is the second option. Moving on to the next, there is question number 83. In a terrestrial ecosystem such as forest, maximum energy in which trophic level will be obtained? So the maximum energy can be obtained in the producers itself, that is trophic level 1, that is T1. So hence we can say that maximum energy will be available in the T1, that is first option. Moving on to the next question, question number 84. Identify the statement as true or false. The first one, plants capture only 2 to 10% of the PAR, that is photosynthetically active radiation, and this small amount of energy sustains the entire living world. Yes. The sequence of the eaters being eaten is called food chain. Yes. Third one, all animals depend, plants are called consumer or heterotrophs. Yes. Second law of thermodynamics states that during energy transfer, large amount of energy degraded into heat and dissipates. Yes. The energy trapped by the producer is either passed on to a consumer or enters into the detritus food chain. Measurement of biomass in terms of fresh weight is more accurate. All the statements were true, hence the option is the third one. Moving on to the next question, that is 85. 10% of law of flow of energy in ecosystem was proposed by, it is Lindemann. So according to 10% law, only 10% of energy is transferred to the successive trophic level from the food chain, through a food chain, whereas 90% of energy which get lost in each trophic level in the form of heat loss. Hence only 10% is available for each trophic levels. So hence correct answer is the first one, that is Lindemann. Now to the next question, question number 86. Small standing crop of phytoplankton supports large standing crop of zooplankton. This is an example for. So here the small standing crop of phytoplanktons, which are the producers, supports large standing crop of zooplanktons. This is an example for. So here you can consider it is not an upright pyramid of a number. So and even upright pyramid of a biomass, which is inverted pyramid of a number, whereas inverted pyramid of biomass. So if you consider the fourth one is the right answer, because it is an example for inverted pyramid of biomass. So always where the trophic level 1 will be occupied by this particular producers, and after that comes zooplankton, where the biomass of zooplankton exceeds far from the biomass of this phytoplankton. That's why the answer is the fourth one, inverted pyramid of biomass. Moving on to the next question, that is question number 87. When sparrow eats an insect and worm, name the trophic level it occupies. So the sparrow eats an insect and worm, hence it comes under carnivore. That's why the trophic level is third. That is option 3 is the right answer. Question 88. Magnitude of primary productivity is affected by first one temperature, availability of nutrients, second solar radiations available and availability of nutrients, third one photosynthetic capacity of producers, fourth one all of this. So, all these factors which used to affect the productivity rate, as a result we can say the answer is all of this, fourth one. Go to the next question, that is question number 89. In forest area is reduced to half, which of the following will be a long term effect? So, your first one, the tribals of that area will be die on account of hunger. Second, cattle of that area will die due to scarcity of fodder. Third one, the diversity in germ plasm will affect the crop breeding. The fourth one, it will be converted into large desert. So, the question is, if the forest area is reduced to half, which of the following will be a long term effect, they asked. If it is a short term effect, means we can classify 1 to 3 options. There is a long term effect, that is why the fourth one is the right answer, that is it will be converted into large desert. Moving on to the next question, that is question number 90. The food chain differ from food webs in what? If you consider about the first one, food chain are single sequence of who eats whom in a community. Second, food chain better represent the entire community. Third, food webs represent a complex interaction among the food chain. Food chain is the flow of energy in a population. So, the right answer is the first one, that is a food chain are the single sequence of who eats whom in a community. Whereas the next one, food chain better represent the entire community, cannot represent a better the entire community. So, that is why go for third option. Food webs represent a complex interaction among the food chain. So, third option and the first one is right, hence the option 1 is the correct answer. Moving on to the next question, that is 91. If 10,000 joule of energy fall on piece of land, then what is the energy available at T2 levels? So, it is like the pyramid of energy where we can apply about the 10% law, where we know that if you consider about the pyramid of energy, in the lower level always there will be a producers in the lower level, that is T1 trophic level 1, trophic level 2 and T3 and T4 if you consider, where in the T1 level if it is 10,000 whatever it is given 10,000 joules. So, hence T2 that is a 10%, hence it is 1000 joules, whereas T3 it is 100 joules, T4 it is 10 joules. So, like that it goes like that is why the answer is for T2 it is 1000 joules, hence it is the first option. Next, that is question number 92. Arrange the following transitional stages of hierarch succession in sequence. So, during hierarch succession we can say that the phytoplankton forms a pioneer community, whereas the fine one, that is a forest stage, which is a climax one. So, in between phytoplankton is the first stage, and after that we can see that there is submerged stage, under that submerged free floating stage can be seen. So, submerged free floating stage, afterwards reed swamp stage, and afterwards comes the stage which is called as marshy sedge meadow stage, and finally comes the forest. So, hence the right answer for the question number 92 is the second one. Moving on to the next question, that is 93. Ecological pyramids does not accommodate. So, it is one of the limitations of ecological pyramid where they did not include or did not given any position to the saprophytes. That is, if you consider about bacteria, fungi, etc., they are not included in the ecological pyramid. And here you can see that the food web structure also not included, hence the answer is 2 and 3, that is option 4. Moving on to the next question, that is question number 94. Edaphic factors are related to. Edaphic factor means here we can consider about the soil. Soil is one of the edaphic factor. So, based on the soil texture, size and also based on the hydrogen ion concentration in the soil. So, we used to consider whether it is good or bad for the growth of crops. So, hence it is one of the important factor in the ecosystem for the distribution of the species or the diversity. Hence, we can consider here the edaphic factors are the soil itself. The next question, given below is an imaginary pyramid of numbers. What would be one of the possibilities about certain organisms at some of the different levels. The first one, so here PP means primary level, where they have given the first one, that is level 1 PP primary producer is pipal trees, and the level secondary consumer is a sheep, whereas the second one level primary consumer is rat and the level secondary consumer is a cat, and the third one level primary consumer is insects and level secondary consumer is a small insectivorous bird. And the fourth one, level primary producer is phytoplanktons, and in a sea, and whale on the top level, that is tertiary consumer. So here if you consider here, the question was given below the imaginary pyramid of numbers. What could be one of the possibilities about certain organism at some of the different levels? So here the correct answer is regarding the third option, that is primary consumer level, that is level PC is primary consumer if you consider, which is insect, and the secondary consumer level is a small insectivorous birds we can consider. So hence here it is like the pyramid where it represents the correct explanation for the question whatever given over there. That is why the answer for the question 95 is the third option. Moving on to the next question, that is question number 96. Match the contents of column 1 with that of column 2. The column 1, that is Lithosphere, Samosphere, Hydrosphere and Xerosphere. Column 2, succession starts on sand, succession in a newly formed pond, succession starts on barren rock, succession starts on dry area. First one is Lithosphere, means the succession which takes place in the rock, whereas Samosphere means the succession which takes on the sand. Hydrosphere, succession which takes in a water, that is if you consider about the newly formed pond is the best example for that. And the next to Xerosphere, the succession which takes place in the dry area, that is in desert also you can consider. So hence the correct match is the second option. Going to the next question, that is 97. What does the given ecological pyramid represent? First one, inverted pyramid of number in pond. Second, role of decomposers. Third, inverted pyramid of biomass in pond. Fourth one, pyramid of biomass in a forest ecosystem. When we go through this diagram which represent about the biomass of primary producer and primary consumer. Here primary producer is a phytoplankton, primary consumer is a zooplankton, where the biomass of zooplankton exceeds that of the phytoplankton. That is why we can see the difference in their biomass. So hence we can see that it is a inverted pyramid of biomass in a pond. Third option. Question, identify the incorrect statement. First one, at any time during primary or secondary succession, natural or human induced disturbances can convert a particular serial stage of succession to an earlier stage. Second, the climax community remains stable as long as the environment remains unchanged. Third option, primary succession takes several hundred to several thousand years to produce the fertile soil. Next one, hierarchical succession leads to messic conditions, but xerarchical succession end up in xeric conditions. So here this fourth one is wrong actually. The reason is that hierarchical succession as well as xerarchical succession both leads to messic condition. So hence we can consider the answer fourth one is the right answer for the question number 98. 99. Organisms occupying a similar ecological niche but different geographical area of distribution are called, first one edge species, second ecological equivalent, third ecolines, fourth one that is lengulines. So we can see that here the correct answer is the ecological equivalence. Ecological equivalent is the region where we can consider about the geographical area of distribution where the similar ecological niche whatever found in that. So that is why the answer is second one. Moving on to the next question, that is question number 100. Identify the option with two incorrect statements. The first one, the species that invade to a barren area is pioneer species. Yes. Second, in primary succession on rock, phytoplanktons are the pioneer species. During in primary succession in a rock, lichens are the primary species. That is why it is wrong. Third, the entire sequence of communities that successively change in a given area that is in sand is called Samosphere, not Halosphere. That's why it's also wrong. The individual transitional communities are termed serial stages or serial communities. So here you can see that the answer is the first one, that is 2 and 3 were wrong. So hence for 100th question, answer is first one. Moving on to the next question, that is 101. Which of the following is not related to secondary succession? First one, in abundant farmland. Second, presence of soil. Third, deforested area. Fourth, absence of soil. So if you consider about the secondary succession generally begins in the area where there is a fertile matter. So that's why the answer is the absence of soil. So it is generally a primary succession. The region wherever absence of soil, when the succession takes place, it is called as primary succession. That's why the answer is fourth option. Moving on to the next question, that is 102. The amount of nutrients such as carbon, nitrogen, phosphorus, calcium, etc. present in the soil at any given time is called a standing state. So that's why the second option is right. The meaning of standing crop is the amount of biomass in a given area, in a given period of time is considered a standing crop. So hence the answer is second option. Moving on to the next question, 103. Carbon cycling occurs through, first one, atmosphere, second, ocean, and through living and dead organisms. So the answer is the fourth one, all, because the carbon cycling takes place in a atmosphere as well as in ocean as well as in the living organisms also. So hence we can consider the option all, that is fourth one is the answer. Moving on to the next question, 104. Dash percent of carbon found dissolved in oceans. In ocean we can see 71% of carbon is dissolved. That is the maximum amount of carbon what we can see, carbon reservoir, that is in the ocean. That's why the answer for question 104 is the first option. Moving on to the next question, 105. What amount of carbon is fixed in the biosphere through photosynthesis annually? So it is 4 into 10 to the power 13 kg, that is option 3. The next question, 106. A considerable amount of carbon returns to the atmosphere as carbon dioxide through respiratory activity of, first option, producer, second, consumer, third one, decomposer, fourth, 1 and 2. So maximum carbon dioxide gets accommodated or returns into the atmosphere through producers and consumers. So hence the answer is fourth one, 1 and 2. We go to the next question, that is question number 107. Maximum human population can be supported if all the humans are, first one, carnivore, second, pure vegetarians, third, vegetarian along with use of milk, fourth one, vegetarian along with use of milk and eggs. So it's for the right answer, that is option 4. The next question, that is 108. In a lake, phytoplankton grown in abundance in, so lake region if you consider, we can consider the different zone in that. That is in case of pond also, littoral zone, limnatic zone, profundal zone, benthic zone, like that. Out of which the littoral zone, what is found in the upper area, where we can see abundance of these phytoplanktons. Hence the answer is the first one, that is littoral zone. That's question number 109. The father of Indian ecology is R. Mishra, that is option second. Productivity is the rate of production of biomass expressed in terms of, so the option 1 per gram square, second kilocalorie per meter square per year, third kilocalorie per meter square, fourth 1 and 2, 1 and 3. So here we can see that the option second, that is kilocalorie per meter square per year is the answer. So that is the unit which is used to measure the biosphere, or in the biosphere the biomass. So hence the answer is second option. Question, that is 111. The reservoir for the gaseous type of biogeochemical cycle exists in, first one, stratosphere, second, atmosphere, third, ionosphere, fourth one, lithosphere. So answer is atmosphere. So second option is the right answer. We go to the next question, 112. Choose the answer. So there it was given a phosphorus cycle where we have to find out the right answer. We know that the phosphorus cycle, which is an example for the sedimentary cycle. So, in the sedimentary cycle which starts or begins in a rock minerals, so next door when there is a process of weathering, so there is a formation of the phosphorus in the soil solution. This soil solution whatever present which consists of phosphorus minerals which is uptaken by the producer through their roots, and during which there is some amount of phosphorus gets run off, and from the producer, that is A, it comes to the B, that is consumer. From the consumer, whenever there is a process of litter fall or death from the producer as well as consumer, it gets detritus. This detritus whenever decomposed, again the dead body, it consists of the phosphorus which gets accumulated in the soil solution, and it comes back to the soil solution. Wherever we can see that there is a loss of some amount of phosphorus takes place whenever there is a process of runoff. So, hence you can see it is an example for imperfect cycle. The question is to identify A, B, C, D. Here A is a producer, B is a consumer, and here D is the decomposers, whereas C is decomposers, D is weathering, and the right answer is the fourth option. Next question 113. Which among the following is not an ecosystem service? So, ecosystem services are nothing but the beneficial process of the nature to the human kind. So, here you can see that purity or purify air and water, that is the one of the service of the ecosystem. Second, enhance droughts and floods. It won't enhance, it will check droughts and floods. And third one, provide wildlife habitat, it's true. Fourth one, aesthetic and spiritual value. And you can see that the aesthetic and spiritual value also one of the ecosystem services, except second one, enhance droughts and flood. That is wrong because it won't enhance, it used to check the flood as well as droughts. So, answer is the second option. That was question number 114. Identify the mismatched pair about ecosystem services. First one, soil formation 50%, yes. Second, recreation, for that less than 10%, yes. Climate regulation 6%, yes. Nutrient cycling less than 10%, it not 6%, should be less than 6% or less than 10%. That is why the fourth option is wrong. It should be nutrient cycling requires less than 10% of the total amount whatever invested on ecosystem services, that is $33 trillion. So, hence the answer is fourth one. Go to the next question, that is question number 115. A pond ecosystem is, first one nano ecosystem, micro ecosystem, third one meso ecosystem, fourth one mega ecosystem. The answer is second one, that is micro ecosystem. 116. Identify the incorrect statement. Robert Constanza and his colleagues have very recently tried to put price tags of about $, that is $33 trillion a year on nature's life support services. Yes. Next, mangroves have high level of the proline and sorbitol. Next, third, phosphorus is a major constituent of biological membranes, nucleic acids and cellular energy transfer system. Yes. Fourth one, carbon constitutes 71% of dry weight of organism. Actually 71% of carbon which is dissolved in an ocean, whereas here carbon constitute only 49% of dry weight of an organism. That is why it is wrong. Hence the answer is fourth option. Question 117. Atmospheric input is negligible in, first one carbon cycle, second oxygen cycle, third one phosphorus cycle, fourth one nitrogen cycle. So, here if you consider about atmospheric input is maximum in carbon cycle, whereas if you consider about nitrogen and all, negligible in case of phosphorus cycle. That is why option 3 is the answer. Next question 118. Kalado National Park is situated in Bharatpur, Rajasthan and is famous for, that is Siberian cranes. Siberian cranes generally during the winter season in Siberia, it used to start migrate to the region of the Rajasthan, that is Bharatpur of Rajasthan, where the Rajasthan which hosts thousands of birds of the Siberian cranes during the winter season in Siberian region. So, hence we can see that the answer is third option. 19. Which of the following is incorrect with respect to competition? First one, resources need not be limiting factor for the competition to occur. Second, competitive species may evolve mechanisms that promote their coexistence. Third, Cornell's field experiment is an example of competitive relation. Yes. Fourth one, only closely related species can show competition. So the fourth concept, if you consider, sometimes the unrelated species also compete for the similar resources. For example, if you consider in case of the American lakes, for the zooplankton, the two unrelated species were competing, that is visiting flamingos as well as residential fishes. Both are competing for the same resources. Hence, this concept is not related. Hence, the answer is fourth one itself. Question number 120. Major conduit of energy is land and aquatic ecosystem is transferred through dash and dash respectively. So, major conduit of energy in land and aquatic ecosystem is transferred through, one is DFC and the one is GFC, that is detritus food chain and the grazing food chain. So, answer is the option 3. Dear students, actually if you consider about this unit 17, organisms and population as well as ecosystem, it's one of the very important topic for the NEET level. So, while preparing questions and answer for this particular topic, go for some application level as well as understanding level type of questions in a preparation, and also try to understand the concept first before sticking to a particular answer. So, all the best and be safe.